Erin here. So I've seen this Run Disney tag kind of floating all over YouTube and I've never participated. I've also never done a sit down chat kind of video quite like this one before. Most of them have been holiday related or travel related. But you know what? We're in a crazy time and we all could use a little bit of Disney magic right now. So I thought, you know what? Why not? I'm going to share my answers for these Run Disney tag questions. After listening to several of these Run Disney tag videos, I thought, you know what? I have some good answers to those questions. So I'm going to share. Join me for my Run Disney tag. I have all the questions here on my iPad, so let's go. Question number 1. How did you hear about Run Disney? Well, my whole Run Disney experience is a little bit interesting because I knew nothing about running before probably 2009. I had run cross country in high school. I'd never run more than 2 miles. I thought anybody that ran more than 2 miles voluntarily was a nutcase. So I had a group of friends from the disc boards. So we're taking it way back. We were either Disney honeymooners or Disney brides, and we had all kind of gotten together and discussed plans for several years on our different events. And in 2009, which had been a couple years later, we all decided to have a meetup at Disney World. Well, 2 of our Disney bride friends were also running the marathon that year. This was 2009. And so we decided that we would go and cheer them along. I had no idea what I was getting into. Run Disney didn't technically exist in 2009. So anyway, we traveled up there and I actually met up with my friend Heather. She lived in New Orleans at the time, and we traveled there together and spent the weekend with all our friends. And on Sunday of the marathon, we stood at mile 24 right outside of Hollywood Studios to cheer our friends on. And I can't tell you how inspired I was by watching all these runners at mile 24 smiling, and they had been running for 24 miles. I thought, what is this concoction? Like, I need to be a part of this. So I actually call that spot Inspiration Point, because that is definitely when I became inspired to be a runner. So I said, you know what, next year I'm gonna come back and run the half, and then we'll just see what happens. And this is what has happened. So anyway, it was 2009. That's when I was first introduced to Run Disney. My first Disney half did fall in the year of 2010. Question number 2. How many Run Disney races have you run? Well, I had to count because I wasn't quite sure. But if you include 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons, full marathons, and the Castaway 5K, I have run 42 Run Disney races. What I did not count in those 42 were the 2 resort runs that I've done. I did the Port Orleans French Quarter Beignet Dash and the Saratoga Springs Derby Dash. Those are 2 extra medals for a total of 44, but I didn't count those because those aren't actually like official Run Disney events. So if you don't count those, then 42 is my final answer. Question number 3. What is your favorite Run Disney race or race weekend? Although I love Princess, it's a blast, I have to say that my absolute favorite Run Disney race experience or weekend has been Marathon Weekend in January. So that race weekend, it was my first half ever. It was my first full ever. It's jam-packed with runners. It's fun. It's the true runner's experience. The expo is full of booths and it's just a great time. So that weekend, I don't know, there's just something special about it. It definitely holds a special place in my heart. So Marathon Weekend is definitely my favorite Run Disney race weekend out there. Question number 4. What is your favorite park to run through? So hands down, no contest, my favorite park to run through is the Magic Kingdom. There is nothing quite like it. You cannot beat it. I made a goal at Princess this year to actually be at the Magic Kingdom before the sun rose. I wanted it to still be dark and the castle to still be lit, and it was magical. Along with all the spectators on Main Street, it was just an amazing experience. To top that off, there's also really unique characters in the park, and then running to the park, you get to see some behind the scenes stuff you wouldn't see normally. So I would have to say Magic Kingdom is my favorite. Just love how, oh, and not to mention running through the castle. I just love all the magical moments that come from running in the Magic Kingdom. Question number 5, what is your favorite Run Disney medal? Well, I know this may sound indecisive, but I actually have 2. So this is from my very first Disney marathon, my first marathon period. It's from 2011. I worked really hard for this medal. I trained really hard, and you know, earning it was tough. I have so many amazing memories from this race. It is hands down one of my favorite races to date. I ran it with my friend Heather and her husband Bobby, and we just had a ball. We were acting crazy at mile, 18, and just as the miles piled on, we were getting delirious, and it was just so much fun. So many memories attached to this one. This is definitely one of my favorites. And my second favorite has, well, it's hard because I also love this one. I love all my Run Disney medals. This one is very cool too. It's from another marathon I ran, but that's not going to be it. My second favorite medal is this one. It is from Dopey Challenge of 2018. I ran the entire challenge with my friend Melissa. We both did Dopey together. We had a ball, worked really hard for this medal too. Would I do Dopey Challenge again? Probably not. It is definitely worth doing at least once in your life because it's just the coolest experience ever, but it's tough. Just the everyday wake up calls and whew, okay. So people who do run Dopey multiple years in a row, I commend you because that is a huge feat. I've done it once, I'm good. And I also love this medal. I love the colors, I love the sparkles. It's one of my favorites. So definitely this medal is I don't want to say second, it's basically my favorite along with this one. There is no like one or two. These are both the same level. Question number 6, what is your favorite Run Disney race shirt? I have to say that my favorite Run Disney race shirt is definitely the shirt from Dopey Challenge. So it is a long sleeve tech shirt. Here in the South, it's hot a lot, so I don't get to wear it very often, but when I do, it's empowering, man. It's like, yes, I ran 48.6 miles. I'm wearing this baby. And it just, I don't know, it's so inspiring, and it definitely, I feel empowered when I wear it. So I love my Dopey shirt. That is definitely one of my favorite Run Disney race shirts. Question number 7, what are the top songs on your Run Disney playlist? So I don't really have let me say this again, I don't really run with music when I run. Most of the time when I'm running at home or, around the lake downtown is when I'm listening to, or what I'm actually listening to is Disney podcasts. So I have 2 favorite Disney podcasts. The first one is the Be Our Guest podcast. Mike is actually a fellow runner, and he talks about Run Disney quite often in his podcast. And also there is a Be Our Guest Lizards running group, so it's fun being a part of both of those. And then my second favorite podcast is The Disney Dish. It's Jim Hill and Lynn Testa. Both are common Disney names. They're both very knowledgeable on all things Disney. I love the tales they have, the stories they share, the history, the current events. They're very, very knowledgeable. So that's another favorite of mine. If I am listening to music, please don't laugh at me. Bear with me, okay? So taking it way back to when I first started running, so we're looking at 2009. I was a big Disney Channel fan, so I used to watch like Jonas LA and So Random. I loved the Jonas Brothers. I loved Demi Lovato. So a lot of those songs are what was on my playlist back then. And so I had this set playlist I memorized. I don't know. It was something I listen to every time I run. And so now when I hear that playlist, if I listen to it, it's like, I don't know, music memory or something. It's like, yeah, because I remember that from when I first started running. So if I'm going to listen to music, it's usually something along those lines with a little NSYNC thrown in there. I know I'm going way back, but that's one of my favorite playlists to listen to. But like I said, 99% of the time, I'm actually listening to podcasts and not music. Question number 8, do you PR a Run Disney race? I have never PR'd a Run Disney race. I know a lot of people who have. My strategy is actually to get a spring race, a 10K or a half, where I can run pretty hard and then qualify for a higher corral for Run Disney. And so when I actually get to the Run Disney event, I can kind of take my time and take pictures with characters. And I don't mean take my time by like walking at a slow pace. I don't mean that at all. What I do is I will start running, and first character stop, if I stop for them, I'll get in line and then I'll wait. So that's kind of burning up some time right there where I'm stopped. And then I'll run to the next character stop, or I'll walk through the water stop. But basically what I'm doing is running from character stop to character stop. So when it takes me 3 hours to run a half, you can bet that most of that time was spent in line for characters. I don't mean most of that time. Probably 45 to 50 minutes was spent waiting in line with characters. So the rest of it was me running. So if you ever see like a really horrible time, I think my longest princess was probably a 4-hour half, because I was just having a ball, but I was running from character to character. It's just the character lines were pretty full. You can't do that too much. Just, you got to watch out for the boom boom ladies. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But anyway, that's my strategy for Run Disney races. I don't actually PR. I want to have fun. I want to enjoy it. So I try to get into a higher corral so I can enjoy stopping for each character along the way. Question number 9, which characters do you stop for on the course? So leading back to the character question, the strategy that I've kind of developed the last couple years is if I've already taken a picture with that character, I'm not going to spend more time in line taking pictures with that character again, especially if the course is crowded. So like Timon, have a bunch of pictures with Timon, so I don't stop for him anymore. Unless it's somebody like Mickey, then I'm probably not going to stop. Something I appreciate about Run Disney events is they do pull out a lot of rare characters or characters together in a pair. So one of my favorite pictures from Princess 10K 2 years ago was Aladdin and Jasmine. So I got to take a picture with the two of them together. You don't usually see them out and about in the parks together. One of my favorite pictures from Princess 10K this year was Quasimodo and Esmeralda. Hello, I've never seen them before, so I knew I had to get in that line. So that's something I really appreciate about Disney is the rareness and the uniqueness of the characters they do pull out sometimes. Of course, you'll see, like I said, Timon, Marie. You'll see some of those typical characters that you see in the parks, but a lot of times you'll see unique experiences too. So always got to stop in line for those. Those are the ones that I stop for, but if I've already had a picture with you, I'm usually just going to bypass it. Question number 10, what is your favorite pre and post race meal? So right before a race, and I'm talking the morning of, what I'm usually eating is a Cliff Bar, or a lot of times in the quick service areas at the resorts, they will sell a bag that has a bagel, a banana, cream cheese or peanut butter maybe, and a bottle of water. And I have purchased that for several race events, where I'll just kind of snack on that before a race. The night before, it just depends if we're on the dining plan or not. I don't really have like a specific pre-race night before meal, just nothing that I've never eaten before. I don't want to, overload my system. Now, after the race, that restaurant is always, hands down, 100% of the time, Ohana, if I can get it. And actually, I got to thinking, back in 2010, when I ran my first Disney half, we ate at Ohana that night after, because I remember running, we saw the Epcot sign, we were only at like mile 9, and I remember my friend Laura, she was like, Ohana tonight, like that's what got us through. So we have basically eaten at Ohana almost every meal after the half marathon or full marathon that I've run. Or if I can't get it for that night, I'll get it for the Monday night instead. But most of the time I've been able to get it for the Sunday night. So Ohana is my traditional post-race meal. I love that meal. I love that dessert. That is a tradition that I cannot break. So Ohana is where you will find me on the Sunday night after a Run Disney race event weekend. Question number 11. I don't have enough fingers for this, so we're going to go with this. Okay, question number 11. What is the favorite race costume you've run in? So, solo, just me, I'm going to go with Snow White. I had a ball running dressed as Snow White, 2013 or 14, I can't even remember. It was for a princess half. My mom helped me sew the costume. I had like the collar and the cape and the sleeves, and it was by far one of the most elaborate costumes I've had. So I definitely would say Snow White. Jason kind of cracked me up because he said it was so hard to find me along the course. He would think, oh, Snow White, oh, Snow White, oh, Snow White. No, that's not her. That's not her. But anyway, it was hard to spot me because there were so many Snow Whites that year. But that is one of my favorite costumes I've worn when running solo. When running with a friend for the Tinkerbell 10K, the Neverland 10K back at Disneyland. The last year they did it was 2017, I believe, or 2018. 2017. My friend Melissa and I ran the Neverland 10K dressed as Peter Pan and Captain Hook. We had a ball. Oh my gosh. Okay, so throughout the whole park, they kept playing Following the Leader on repeat. Like I heard that song for probably an hour and a half or hour and 45 minutes, however long it took us to do that race. I have PTSD when I hear that song now. Not really, I really do like that song, but anyway, I can't hear that song now without laughing because it's just kind of a joke between my friend Melissa and I because we heard it so many times during that 10K. But we had fun dressed as Captain Hook and Peter Pan. We would have little duels with our sword and my hook, and cast members would call us out and spectators along the course would call us out. It was so much fun. So if you can find a buddy to dress up with and run a race at Disney, it just doubles the fun. It really just makes for an interesting, and it pluses the experience to me. So that's definitely one of my tips. And that was one of my favorite race costumes I've worn to date. And last but not least, question number 12, what costume are you most looking forward to wearing? So I do have to say that I felt like my inspiration has kind of run out because I've worn several costumes over the years. I had always wanted to run as Mary Poppins. I did that for Princess in not this year, but last year. And then I had always wanted to wear my High School Musical Wildcats costume, so I did that for Wine and Dine this past year. So I felt for Princess this year like I just had no inspiration. I ended up pulling a Beauty and the Beast raw thread shirt that I had, and I just paired it with a skirt and a headband, and I went as Belle. But anyway, so if I did have to say though, as far as a costume I'm looking forward to wearing, bouncing off of the group or friend combo idea, we had kind of slightly talked about dressing up as Toy Story characters with some friends of mine and I for the race for Wine and Dine last year. It just didn't work out. So if I ever had a group of like 4 or 5 of us, I think Toy Story would be what I would want to run as, because you could do Jessie, Woody, Buzz. Jason already claimed Sid, my husband. So anyway, I think that would be a lot of fun. Like I said, it definitely pluses the experience, and it's a lot of fun to dress up with somebody else and enjoy the race together. So Toy Story is the answer I'm going to go with this question. Because this is a Run Disney tag video, if you're interested in answering these questions, please do so. I'm going to leave all the questions down in the description box below, and if you happen to answer them, drop me a line, let me know you did. I would love to hear your answers. So I hope you enjoyed hearing my Run Disney tag answers. I appreciate you joining me. I hope you are all doing well and staying healthy in this crazy time we're experiencing right now. I am going to say see you real soon, because I'm going to declare that I will see you real soon, because the parks will be opening again soon. So my plans for my next Run Disney event actually are not going to be until Princess of 2021, and then during this whole quarantine time, I've never really been a huge Star Wars fan. I didn't not like it, but I didn't love it. I wanted to rewatch the entire Star Wars saga, and I did. So I'm kind of hooked now. I want to run Star Wars next year, so that may be a possibility too. So I hope to see you there. Princess for a week and maybe Star Wars for the race weekend. Not quite sure of the details yet. So I hope to see you real soon. I hope you're well, and take care. Bye.